Mhm. I was just looking at those screen prints of mandatory reporting. Yeah. Child abuse, child abduction, and kidnapping. Ooh. Class B felony or Class C felony. Yeah. And then all the times that I was arrested where everything was sent to an address where I couldn't actually contact the individual. And then I kept wondering, well, why doesn't law enforcement give me notice of court hearings? Oh. But they never asked me, well, Paul, do you know that all your mail's being sent to 1023 Kitchen Dick Road, Sequim, Washington, 98382, Jefferson County? Well, no, I didn't. Oh, I didn't find that out until I was in jail. Judge Porter, do you realize that I never got any notice of any court hearings because this fucking county seems to not understand that if you don't communicate with those accused of crimes, how the fuck is it that I'm going to find out about court hearings? Now, this mandatory reporting of child abuse. Oh. See this right here? Yes. You remember that yesterday? Which of those two individuals is actually elected to office? Oh. And Brent, when you issue a protection order without a petitioner's signature, Jack, yes, you're not given a chance. It's actually child abuse. Now, for the court commissioner to issue any court order where there's not the requirement of the petitioner to have to appear in court, yes, it's child abuse and child abduction, custodial interference, pooch. And for some dumb fucking reason, you won't arrest that court commissioner. Interviews. 4.58. Officer understands the importance of planning interviews and understands how and when to advise a person of constitutional rights in accordance with the agency policy and legal requirements. Yes. Constitutional right to have an attorney present at the time of questioning. Yes. See, I thought I asked for an attorney, Officer Rick Larson, and you didn't give me one. Who was it that filled out the police report of the who, what, when, where, how, and why I was arrested on January 4th when I wasn't in that city? Where's the actual police report? Well, here's what happened. The interview, the importance of planning it, yeah. Understands how and when to advise a person of constitutional rights in accordance with the agency policy and legal requirements. You informed me that I can have an attorney, and then you didn't give me one. Initial citizen contact. Determine complainant's expectation, prosecution, or assistance. Determine your actions. Who was the complainant on December 31st of 2015? Was it the petitioner that didn't acknowledge the court order? Yes. Was it someone that looks like the petitioner, or was it one of my 5 sons that were named as minors? Now, you could have done no action, but you issued a citation for January 4th. Yes. A civil issue. I violated the restraint provisions of the protection order that happens to have forgeries. Fraudulent statements. Was issued 40 days after you issued the temporary protection order. Yes. Where I was not given any notice or opportunity to be heard. Where you served me in the Sequim Public Library, poach, and you served somebody other than myself. Was it the individual that you served after you? Well, was there a civil issue, unfounded, or crime, incident, or card report? Exactly what individual was the claimant on December 31st of 2015 that I was in Sequim, Washington? And then the 2-count criminal complaint. Who was it that you decided that you were going to arrest me? Yes. After sending notice of court hearings to an address where I could not contact that address or I would be arrested for harassment. Who was it, Brett Roberts, that said that on June 16th of 2017 that I'd violated the protection order and I had cyber stalked? The complainant, hmm prosecution or assistance. Now, the officer understands the for conducting a lineup, drive-by identification, witnesses. What other persons witnessed me in Brennan, Washington on June 16th of 2017 when I had sent videos to the Port Angeles Police Department that I was sitting in front of the Masonic Temple? I'd like to know all the witnesses that I could have called in my behalf. Somebody must have seen these crimes other than the petitioner. In Sequim, Washington, where were all the witnesses that witnessed me committing crime? Brett. Where are the witnesses that say that they saw me in Brennan, Washington on my wife's 47th birthday, when at the same time I was in Clallam County, Pooch. I was in front of the Masonic Temple and I was at the Senior Center that day. Exactly where's all the witnesses? Well, how can there be any witnesses? I wasn't in Sequim, Washington. I wasn't in Brennan, Washington. You sent notice of court hearings um, to an address where I was informed for the last 5 years I cannot contact the individual that's the pastor at that address. I sent you emails, 2 million of them, and for some dumb fucking reason, the total assholes that you are, your whole mindset was, well, we don't have to enforce his rights. He doesn't have to have notice of court hearings. We can continue to send, after I was in jail in Sequim, Washington, in Port Angeles, Washington, we can continue to send notice of court hearings to 1023 Kitchen Dick Road. After I put homeless. Now, there is what's known as the officer understands how to respond to and conduct preliminary investigation of homeless persons. It seems that in the field training manual for those that are in law enforcement, they specifically talk about how to talk to homeless people. Is there a police officer in Port Angeles that doesn't understand that I'm homeless? In fact, do you not understand that everything I own was, the last time I looked at the place where I was sleeping at, yes, is locked up in a house where you dumb fucks would not enforce the rights of a homeless man. Now, your thought was, I'm homeless. I have no rights. But if they specifically train officers on how to respond to preliminary investigations of homeless persons, pooch, it must have been that somebody along the way had figured out that when you're talking to a homeless person, you need to pay attention to where do they get their mail. Well, they get their mail at a place where they can't contact the individual to find out where their mail is. How many homeless people have ever gotten any court notices? Yes. Sent, yes, to a place where the actual person that had the residence there, yes, had informed them that if you ever contact this address again, I will have the police arrest you for harassing us. Now I'm going to sue every fucking police officer of this great nation right now. Pitchy catch a cop.